Welcome back to another explainer. We're stepping back from the daily noise today to look at the vast unfolding picture of AI in 2030. It's kind of mysterious, right? Like staring into a massive cosmos of data without a map. But today, we are completely stripping away the sci-fi magic. We're going to build a grounded, entirely durable mental model of what this technology actually is and how it's quietly rewiring our world. So here's our roadmap for the journey. 1. The three forces of AI. 2. The 6 irreducible truths. 3. From tool to infrastructure. 4. How work and society change. And finally, 5. Becoming a systems reader. Let's dive right in. To really grasp where AI is headed, we've got to stop staring at the flashy standalone tools. Think of it more like a giant canal system. One stream of water is great, it's useful on its own, but the real story, the real power, is in how that water is guided, stored, redirected, and shared. AI is moving in exactly the same way. The big question isn't just what one isolated AI can do today, but what happens when the compounding forces guiding it keep pushing forward. And those guiding forces? Well, AI's future is shaped by 3 specific ones: capability, cost, and trust. Think of this as our rule of 3. If an AI becomes more capable, cheaper to run, and trusted enough in high-stakes settings, it stops being a novelty. It just becomes part of the environment. This little triad is going to be our anchor lens as we figure out just how far AI is going to spread throughout this explainer. But before we fast forward to 2030, we really have to strip away the illusion. Artificial intelligence is simply a system that turns patterns into predictions and decisions. That's it. It's not a conscious magic brain. Imagine a highly observant, incredibly skilled shopkeeper who's just watched the same exact market for years. They learn those invisible customer habits over time, right? They notice certain people buy certain things at certain times, and they use that pattern to make really, really useful guesses about what's going to happen next. Which brings us to Section 2, the 6 irreducible truths, stripping away the hype. There is a fundamental difference between us and the machine. We humans understand a sentence or a face by connecting it to lived experience, to memory, and deep meaning. AI does something way narrower. It detects structure. It's like a lightning-fast librarian. This librarian doesn't sit down and read every book cover to cover to grasp the deep themes of human existence. No, they just learn the shape of useful relationships, which books belong together, and which requests lead to which shelves. It's literally just pattern recognition at a massive scale. Building on that, let's break down how AI actually operates. First, it learns from examples, not by being hand-coded with millions of rules. It's like how you learn to ride a bicycle, through feel and feedback, definitely not by reading a physics textbook. Second, it perfectly mirrors its input signal. Think of it like cooking. If your ingredients are stale or biased, the final dish is going to suffer. Even the best algorithms can't rescue bad data. And third, it thrives on repetition, kind of like a tailor measuring familiar body shapes over and over. But, and this is a huge but, when the real world gets messy, open-ended, and lacks those stable patterns, AI really struggles. Pulling all these truths together proves something critical. AI isn't one giant, all-knowing brain. It's a broad family of systems. But the secret engine of 2030, that lies in its economic impact. AI fundamentally changes the cost of thinking. When drafting, sorting, summarizing, or predicting becomes radically cheaper, well, people just start using it absolutely everywhere. All right, moving on to Section 3, from tool to infrastructure, the quiet revolution. See, every great technological shift follows this exact same path. At first, a technology is a standalone device, a novelty, like a calculator is a tool. But then it levels up into a service, and finally, infrastructure. Think about electricity. Once it became cheap and reliable, people completely stopped asking if they were using it. They just assumed it was there. By 2030, AI is going to be exactly that kind of invisible layer. The real revolution isn't some flashy product launch. It's our quiet, everyday dependence on AI for writing drafts, translating languages, and catching risks in the background. Let's look at Section 4, how work and society change, the ripple effect. First off, we've got to debunk a major myth. AI is not going to take over entire jobs in one dramatic flash. Jobs are actually bundles of tasks. What AI will do is heavily automate the pattern-rich tasks, drafting emails, scanning documents, answering FAQs. But tasks that require deep human judgment, nuance, negotiation, real-world accountability, those remain incredibly hard to automate. So you might not be replaced by AI entirely, but a professional working without AI, they'll likely be moving a whole lot slower than someone using it as an invisible assistant. And this leads to a really fascinating phenomenon, the compression of expertise. Expertise is normally scarce, right? Which creates massive bottlenecks in society. But as AI lowers the barrier to getting quality help, like giving a student an instant custom explanation or helping a tiny clinic sort patient data in seconds, that scarcity starts to evaporate. But we gotta be careful here. This doesn't automatically create some perfect utopia of fairness. It actually creates intense new distribution pressures. Who gets access? Who can afford the best models? And who really knows how to supervise them effectively? That brings us to a massive tension we're going to see leading up to 2030, the institutional gap. Now, individuals adopt tech in minutes. You or I can literally download a new tool and play with it right now. But institutions, schools, governments, hospitals, they move at a glacial pace because their main currencies are liability, reliability, and public trust. So over the next few years, you're going to see this wild reality where workers and students are miles ahead of the policies meant to govern them. Parts of society will feel way ahead of the law, and parts of the law will feel desperately behind society. Because information, whether it's text, images, or video, is becoming almost free to generate, we're about to get absolutely flooded with content. The bottleneck in society won't be content creation anymore. It's going to be human attention. In a world full of infinite noise and potential misinformation, people will be desperate for verification. When creation gets that cheap, trust becomes the absolute premium currency. Knowing what's real and what source actually deserves your confidence, that'll be everything. This causes a huge shift in what makes a human valuable in the workforce. In the past, the big digital divide was just access, like did you have a computer and the internet? But by 2030, the new divide is judgment. If everybody has access to the exact same AI, the person who wins is the one who can ask the best questions, ruthlessly verify the outputs, and, crucially, know when not to rely on the model. We're subtly shifting the human role upward, moving from being the generator of the draft to the final editor and judge. If you want to understand the true social engine of 2030, it really comes down to this one idea. AI lowers the cost of coordination. Getting people, information, and decisions to line up takes massive societal effort. Whether that's matching workers to tasks, translating across languages, or triaging complex customer problems. By making that coordination radically cheaper and faster, smaller teams will be able to do exponentially more. It basically acts like a brand new nervous system for society. And finally, Section 5, Becoming a Systems Reader, your new mental model. Our goal here is a total identity shift. It's time to stop being an anxious spectator riding the AI hype cycle and instead become a systems reader. When a new piece of tech drops, you don't need to panic anymore. You have the map. You can look at the task and ask, is this full of predictable patterns or messy exceptions? What's actually holding this tech back? Is it capability, cost, or trust? This highly educational framework empowers you to see the real trade-offs hiding underneath all those flashy promises. So I'll leave you with a final, really powerful question. The next time you see a viral video of a mind-blowing new AI tool, don't just ask if it's impressive. Ask yourself, does it actually make human coordination cheaper, faster, and more reliable? Armed with this durable, hype-free lens, you are now totally equipped to watch this next wave of the intelligence revolution unfold with absolute clarity. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we will catch you next time.